A major issue during the upcoming Donald Trump presidency is going to be the embarrassment of Trump as president on the world stage. We know that U.S. standing and respect around the world was in the trash, in the toilet, call it where you want, under George W. Bush. We know that U.S. standing in the world has recovered significantly under President Obama. And it turns out that bombing other countries doesn't gain respect from the world community, no matter what neoconservative war hawks like Donald Rumsfeld and Paul Wolfowitz and the others tell you if you're president. Now, I predicted much worse under Donald Trump because the guy's a buffoon of the highest order, right? It's very plain to see to any clear thinking individuals. And indeed, over the weekend on our Reddit discussion forum, davidpakman.com/Reddit, on our Facebook page, facebook.com/David Pakman Show, many people posting articles and questions and ideas about now that Trump's election has become real. Who is the leader of the free world? Now, this is not a literal phrase, right? The leader of the free world is a colloquialism used first during the Cold War to talk about the U.S., or more commonly, the president of the United States of America. The president of the U.S. is the leader of the free world. And this is to suggest that among the democratic superpowers, the United States is the most powerful, and thus the leader of the United States is, by extension, the leader of the free world. Consensus is already shifting away from President of the United States when we think about President Trump, when we think about President-elect Trump swearing on that presumably Bible or maybe the art of the deal. I don't know what it is Melania Trump will hold for him to become president of the United States, that it is not going to be Trump who is the leader of the free world, but rather German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Time magazine has proclaimed German Chancellor Angela Merkel to be Chancellor of the free world after the election of Donald Trump. The New York Times is now describing Merkel as the liberal West's last defender. Timothy Garton Ash is arguing that Merkel could now be considered the leader of the free world. Obamacare may stay or go under Trump, as I told you earlier. Russia might play Trump like a Stradivarius violin, or they might not. That remains to be seen. Trump might build a wall, or he might build a fence and tell his supporters that he built the wall, or he might not. He might bamboozle the low information voters into thinking he made America great again, or maybe not. But a buffoonish sexual harasser who ridiculed everyone from disabled people to overweight women and stiffed his own workers and contractors countless times is not going to be seen by the free world as its leader. Now, you could argue that the most powerful person on the planet would be the president of China because of the size of China and its economy. But whether China is considered part of the colloquial free world is sort of under debate. So the discussion on our Reddit about this is really good. I encourage you to check it out. Bottom line, Pat, as Trump becomes president of the U.S., and the U.S. is increasingly ridiculed by those in other countries, as Russian and Chinese influence grow, if France replaces Francois Hollande with, for example, Marine Le Pen, and they go in an anti-EU direction, it's going to become clearer that Donald Trump is not the leader of the free world and that German Chancellor Angela Merkel may be.
But it's very scary that he will become the most powerful person on earth. Usually, if you see those rankings, Merkel will rank on there, but the top two go back and forth between the president of the United States and the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. And considering that Donald Trump will have both houses of Congress on his side and the Supreme Court, he'll be able to get a lot done. And he will probably be considered the most powerful person on earth. So brace yourself.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I know that the trumpeters, here's the thing. If you tell a trumpeter, hey, you know what? The world is embarrassed about the guy you voted in. We're now saying Angela Merkel is the leader of the free world or whoever. They will say, that's good. We hate Europe. Those communist sissies, they will actually be emboldened if the international community shuns Trump. That's what's incredibly dangerous and concerning, that anything like that, we saw it under Bush. I think we will see it exponentially more under Trump because of the rhetoric he's used. They will see that as a justification for having elected Trump.
Well, it's interesting because the president of the United States is still the commander-in-chief of the largest army on the planet.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these days, the most important thing is diplomacy, working well with each other. So in that respect, I'm sure Merkel will take over that title.
I think there is really no question about it. I'm curious to hear from you, and I'm not so curious to hear from the trumpeters, but I know they'll contact me anyway. So at least keep it polite if you can.